big game got called off, Jace. Obviously, Liverpool.
Yes.
Probably a bit of an advantage for Arsenal. That gives them the opportunity to get some points on the board, get them closer to them.
Well, you never know, right? Until the game's finally played, I mean, it's been postponed. Is it a good time to play Everton now? Don't know. They won 4-0 at midweek, scored 4 goals, kept a clean sheet. You might find you go into that game as a Liverpool fan, all of a sudden you got Salah injured. You know, maybe Van Dijk's missing, maybe Trent and Conor Bradley are both. It's impossible to tell right now. What you don't really want, you don't want to be chasing. Like, who knows what would have happened today? But Chelsea can win tomorrow. Arsenal can pick up points. All of a sudden, that gap that looked quite healthy, now all of a sudden gets shortened, only because they got the game in hand, Liverpool. But look, this is what the Premier League's like, mate. You know, you often see latter stages, mid-third of the Premier League season, games in hand over someone, whether because you're in the Carabao Cup, there might have been something else that takes place. You know, all of a sudden, you want the points on the board. Yeah. So it's now for up to Chelsea, Arsenal, Man City have slipped up today, to put that pressure on and say, OK, we pick up our points, we close the gap, over to you, Liverpool, next time you play. So impossible to say whether it's a good or bad thing for both sides.
Look, we've seen in the games today, there have been 3 big Premier League games. Brentford absolutely flying, up to 6th in the table. Wissam and Mbeumo are just on another level, aren't they? I mean, bit of pressure on Eddie Howe now for Newcastle. They're 12.
Yeah, that's a bad result for them. Look, they got beat at home by West Ham, nearly got beat by Liverpool, no disgrace. Got a point on the night. To lose today the way they did, Nick Pope for some of the goals, mate.
You're not having him, are you?
I'm not. If Newcastle want to be where they feel they should be, and that's in and around those top European places, I ain't sure he's good enough, mate.
No?
No, I'm not sure he's going to be good enough. I think great shot stopper. You
say that, you're saying he couldn't get down to the low ones.
No, I think that the game has changed. You know, the physicality of a goalkeeper over the last 20 years has changed. I remember when David De Gea came in to the Premier League and everyone was talking about him dealing with crosses and he wasn't dealing with things particularly well. So Alex dropped it, if you remember. Physically, he's not a Nick Pope, but what that does, the agility, it's hard to be a big goalkeeper yet still be agile. Yeah. And goalkeepers now, I go back in the late 90s, you know, or the early 90s, goalkeepers, the big goalkeepers dominate because crosses were coming in the box. They could come out and now it's different. Yeah. Now you need to be a bit more agile with the ball at your feet. And the game has changed because crosses into the box isn't necessarily what the Premier League is about now. And I think that shot stopping from distance is excellent. But when you got a collapse, when the ball's close to you, you say the goalkeeper's got a collapse, you need to be agile to drop down. That's a big weight to get down. I felt at least 1, maybe 2 of the goals today. Nearly gave away a third, by the way, on the edge of his box. Yeah, the ball at his feet. He's not good. That's not his game. It's harsh on him because that's not his game. But I think if Newcastle really want to move to where they want to be, I think Nick Pope will probably find himself surplus requirements. Yeah,
I want to hear from Newcastle fans. There's a bit of pressure on Eddie Howe. You're running out of patience. 12th in the table. That's not where you want this football club to be going at the moment, that's for sure. Let's go to Chris, though. He's a Brentford fan. Chris?
All right, Chris.
Hello, mate. You all right?
Yeah, Chris. Look, unbelievable result. Unbelievable at home. It's fortress.
Hello. Well, you asked, why is it we're so good at home and so poor away? Well, it's quite simple, really. You look at the teams that we've played at home, with no disrespect to anyone, but Crystal Palace, Wolves, Ipswich, Leicester, Southampton. Today was the first big test, really. And then you look at the teams we played away, Man United, Liverpool, Tottenham, Man City. That's where you get why we're so good at home and so bad away.
Yeah, but I mean, there's been some results at home where you got a bit fortunate. Palace is definitely one of those, but that's not the answer because you still have to pick up points. I said in the talk up, Premier League performances right now, you could win the Premier League on your home performances, yet get relegated on your away performances. That doesn't make sense to me.
But you look at the teams we've played.
No, it still doesn't make sense because I've seen you do well away, Chris, at these teams.
We were winning at Man United until the 92nd minute.
Why didn't you win it?
Well, because they scored 2 late goals.
Well, that's what I mean, though. So
I know, but that's why.
It still doesn't add up. I know that can happen. What I'm saying to you now is that the difference between winning at home and almost winning every game, yet losing at home and almost losing every game, that doesn't make sense.
You're right, it doesn't. But, you know, obviously the quality of teams that we've played at home today was the first big test, really.
All right. I mean, fair enough, but it still doesn't make sense. You could still either drop points at home because you're still just Brentford, but you can still pick up points away from home because you're a decent team.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, but it's, you know, you look at it in February, and I bet you the home form, because we're going to have some tough games coming up. I don't know who we've got coming up, but obviously we're going to have, you know, Man City, the Arsenal,
but
the
Chris,
Liverpool.
you know what, Chris? Do you know what, Chris, though? You don't want this to become a pattern, because if your away form continues to be as bad and your home form does start to suffer, you drop down the league. You watch that happen.
I don't know, you know.
Yeah, it will.
I mean, look, they're not going to stay
Indeed,
sixth, but...
It will. They'll drop down the league.
But when we go to teams that are even with us, say, so someone like Wolves or something, or, you know, Leicester or Crystal Palace, we've got them to come away. So our away form should pick up, and naturally the home form, we're not going to beat the likes of Arsenal and Liverpool at home every time.
Yeah, when you find an anomaly like this, that it's so different, like from going like one end of the spectrum to completely to the other end, somewhere in the middle is the truth. But all it takes is for your away form to start to really, really change and stay that way, or your home form gets worse.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.